Good evening and welcome to Hot News. We are live on Pan-African Television. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are also live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. The program is very interactive, and so you can connect with us via WhatsApp / text line on 0260-8465-39, 0260-8465-39. You can as well leave your comments, suggestions, questions, and whatnot on our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We make a time and read all those for you. My name is Justice Appiah, and tonight on Hot News, we are looking at a response given to former President John Dramani Mahama by the Special Prosecutor, Martin Amido. What did he say? He has said that former President John Dramani Mahama should man up and wise up and submit himself for a probe if indeed he thinks that he is not the government official one mentioned in the Airbus scandal. You recall that in the assessment of the JAPA deal, the investigations conducted by the special prosecutor, when he was submitting his report, somewhere in about one paragraph, he stated that former President John Dramani Mahama is the government official one mentioned in the in the Airbus scandal. That did not go down well with former President John Dramani Mahama. So he responded to the special prosecutor by saying that he's a coward and that his act, can only be said to have been very stupid for him to have mentioned his name as the government official one in the Airbus scandal. Now, let's go and listen to what former President John Dramani Mahama said earlier that prompted the response from the special prosecutor. When we come back, I'll read, the release by the special prosecutor, and then I introduce my guest. But for now, let's go and listen to the former president. We'll be right back.
Amidu goes and presents a JAPA shares, a JAPA investigation. And I thought he was man enough. You go, they say, investigate a JAPA, present a report on a JAPA. If you've investigated Airbus, present a report on Airbus. But in the JAPA report, you know that it's going to be damning of this government. You go and put one paragraph there about Airbus. Nobody asked you about Airbus. If you were man enough, present a JAPA and do a report on Airbus, separate. And then I'll come as a man and answer you on Airbus. If you think that I'm indicted on Airbus, accuse me directly. But because he's a coward, and they knew that a JAPA was going to be discussed today, because he was a coward, and he knew that they were going to discuss a JAPA, so put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. I mean, what stupidity is this? You are investigating a JAPA. Present a report on a JAPA. Why? Because you know a JAPA is going to be discussed. You've indicted the president's cousin as finance minister, and you're afraid that you are presenting only a report on a JAPA. So in the JAPA report, put some other reports that balance the equation. I thought he was man enough. Come out. The point is, you say I'm the leader of a political party. I say, if you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. If you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. There's been a DPA, a deferred prosecution agreement. You are not a party to it. You don't know who are involved in it. They've identified some people in it. You don't have an authenticated agreement from SFO or from whoever is involved in it. And you say, I surmise that government official one is so. Somebody is so. On what legal basis are you proceeding? Amidu goes and presents a JAPA shares, a JAPA investigation. And I thought he was man enough. You go, they say, investigate a JAPA, present a report on a JAPA. If you've investigated Airbus, present a report on Airbus. But in the Ejapa report, you know that it's going to be damning of this government. You go and put one paragraph there about Airbus. Nobody asked you about Airbus. If you were man enough, present Ejapa and do a report on Airbus, separate. And then I'll come as a man and answer you on Airbus. If you think that I'm indicted on Airbus, accuse me directly. But because he's a coward, and they knew that Ejapa was going to be discussed today, because he was a coward, and he knew that they were going to discuss Ejapa, so put a paragraph on Airbus to equalize the discussion. I mean, what stupidity is this? You are investigating Ejapa. Present a report on Ejapa. Why? Because you know Ejapa is going to be discussed. You've indicted the president's cousin as finance minister, and you are afraid that you are presenting only a report on Ejapa. So in the Ejapa report, put some other reports that balance the equation. I thought he was man enough. Come out. The point is, you say I'm the leader of a political party. I say, if you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. If you have a legal basis for investigating me, go ahead and investigate me. There's been a DPA, a deferred protection agreement. You are not a party to it. You don't know who are involved in it. They've identified some people in it. You don't have an authenticated agreement from SFO or from whoever is involved in it. And you say, I surmise that government official one is so. Somebody is so. On what legal basis are you proceeding?
Viewers, welcome back. That was the former president, John Dramani Mahama, when he responded to the special prosecutor, Martin Amidu, by saying that, well, because he knew that that particular week, the Ejapa deal was going to be discussed, the indictments and all of that pertaining to people who were involved in the Ejapa deal was going to be a topic of discussion. He had decided to include former President John Dramani Mahama, or the Airbus scandal in that, to play some sort of equalization. He could not fathom why the special prosecutor would do a thing like that. He described the act as stupidity. Just today, the special prosecutor has, come out with a release, and this is the release. I'll read it briefly and then introduce my guest for the discussion to start. And this is what he said. Let me briefly read this. Office of the Special Prosecutor, Yantabi Road, Laboni, PO Box M60, Accra. And it has the Republic of Ghana logo right there. 9th November 2020. And it is stated, for immediate release, Your Excellency, it has been titled as Your Excellency, the wise and the brave former President John Dramani Mahama volunteer a statement on caution in the Airbus SE affair. This is what the statement is actually saying. It says, on the 2nd November 2020, I issued a press release in the name of this office announcing the public the completion of the 64-page report by this office titled Report on the Analysis of Corruption and Anti-Corruption Risk Assessment of the Processes Leading Up to the Request for Approval and approval of the Transaction Agreement and Tax Exemptions granted by Parliament thereunder in relation to the gold royalties monetization transaction under the Minerals Income Investment Fund Act 2018, Act 978, and other related matters thereto. In view of the fact that I was making an assessment report on Ejapa and other related matters thereto, I found it necessary to make observations on other matters related thereto, on which discrete analysis of the risk of corruption and anti-corruption assessments had been undertaken, leading to investigations to demonstrate the essence of anti-corruption assessments. The evidence gathered in the case of the Republic versus Samuel Adam Mahama and others points to one and only one person as government official one. His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama, the former Vice President of Ghana, is the elected government official one. The evidence also discloses that John Dramani Mahama, described as former president of plot number 6 North Street, Tesano, P.O. Box AN 104, Accra, was the first guarantor, with Alfred Abdullahi Mahama, falsely described as a civil servant, also of plot number 6 North Street, Tesano, P.O. Box AN 104, Accra, as the second guarantor to the application of Samuel Adam Mahama, described as project manager, also of plot number 6 North Street, Tesano, P.O. Box AN 104, Accra, for a Ghanaian passport. Former President John Dramani Mahama and his elder brother Alfred Abdullahi Mahama both knew that Samuel Adam Mahama had not attended the University of Ghana from 6 January 1992 to 4 November 1994, but nonetheless guaranteed the application, verifying the statement contained in the application for the Ghanaian passport. These were all done in furtherance of corruption and corruption-related offenses. The long public service of the special prosecutor, spanning various aspects of security and intelligence from the period February 1982 to 7 January 2001 and July 2009 to January 2012, makes him more experienced in determining when it is not conducive to the national security interest to full-heartedly take certain law and other actions. The special prosecutor owes the exercise of discretion to his vast experience over the years, his responsibility to maintain national stability, and his conscience as a patriotic anti-corruption crusading Ghanaian. There is no question of stupidity or cowardice about it. Any person aspiring to be president of Ghana for a second term who does not know a cardinal principle in security and intelligence let me take that portion. Second term, who does not know that a cardinal principle in security and intelligence is that caution is the better part of valor, was not and is not worth the vote. His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama cannot pick and choose from the Japan Royalties Limited report. The last sentence in the first paragraph on page 54 of the report offered former President John Dramani Mahama the opportunity to voluntarily come forward and make a cautioned statement in the following words. Quote, the former president has also not offered to make any voluntary statement to this office despite the publication of an alleged interview containing admissions purportedly made by former president to a Daily Graphic reporter without a full voice recording, which in meantime remains just hearsay. Your Excellency, the wise and the brave former President John Dramani Mahama, if you really assert that there is no piece of evidence showing that you are elected government official one, why do you simply voluntarily come to be cautioned? Why do you not simply voluntarily come to be cautioned, to be interrogated and confronted with the evidence against you as elected government official one? On 10th March 2020, the special prosecutor wrote a letter with reference number OSP /SCR /2D /29 to the registrar of the University of Ghana for a search on whether Samuel Adam Mahama DOB 14-12-62 attended the University of Ghana from 6 January 1992 and exited on 4 January 1994. In letter with reference number AA.02 dated 22nd May 2020, the registrar of the University of Ghana formally conveyed to this office inter alia as follows. This comes to inform you that we have conducted a search through our various databases, main campus list, city campus list, and computer system, but we have not been able to locate the records of any Samuel Adam Mahama with a date of birth provided. Your Excellency, the wise and the brave former President John Dramani Mahama, man up, wise up, and be brave enough to come with 2 lawyers of your own choice to be cautioned and interrogated by this office to demonstrate your valor and wisdom as not being elected government official one, and also as not being the first guarantor to Samuel Adams Mahama's passport application. The final paragraph says, my 64-page Ejapa Royalties Limited report demonstrates clearly that nobody can use me as against another citizen. Former President John Dramani Mahama should go back and listen to the vetting by Parliament of the Special Prosecutor and the Special Prosecutor's interview with David Ampofo to be assured that crime will always remain crime, no matter whose ass is gold. My friendship with Minister for Finance never stopped me from making a professional assessment on the conduct of the Ministry of Finance in the 64-page Ejapa assessment report. I have no brother or friend when it comes to my crusade against preventing corruption and fighting corruption. Ghana first, always. Signed by Martin A.B.K. Amidu, Special Prosecutor. My grandmother in the village would say Special Kwesi Peter. Well, I've been joined in the studio by my very good brothers, Peter Mensah, who is a member of the National Democratic Congress Communications team, and also Mr. George A.C., who is also a member of the New Patriotic Party Communications team and doubles as the Director of Communications for NADMO. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Justice.
Thank you all so much for being here with me tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justice.
I'll start with Peter. Former President John Dramani Mahama, we've listened to him actually when he responded appropriately to the Special Prosecutor. Now, the Special Prosecutor has dared former President John Dramani Mahama to man up and rise up, submit himself for a probe. What's the NDC's position on this? I believe by now the National Democratic Congress has taken a position on this.
Thank you, Justice. Let me say good evening to our viewers and the good people of the NDC, our president, the incoming president, John Dramani Mahama, and running mate, Professor Jenana Obukwajeman. And as usual, the good people of Ahafo region, Rollins Dowders constituency, SUTV South to be precise.
Okay.
This week we have a wonderful rally that will be held on Sunday in my very hometown, Gasemun Kenkro. So I will be joining them for that mega rally.
Okay.
Yeah, let me say good evening to my brother. Unfortunately, we couldn't join the funeral with him, but
unfortunately,
we will pay homage for that.
Unfortunately.
Justice, to be honest with you, you see, corruption and corruption-related issues are critical to national development.
Very well.
So when issues of investigating a scandal is on board, we urge our institutions to be fair and firm on the issues.
Okay.
This government, to be precise, has touted itself as fighting corruption through the Special Prosecutor's Office. So beginning of 2017, all out, coming 2018, when all the numerous scandals were coming and were the baseless allegations they made when they were in opposition. Whenever we talk about when are they going to prosecute, when are they going to prosecute, when are they going to investigate, they always refer us to, or we waiting for the Special Prosecutor. To be honest, the Special Prosecutor came. For almost 3 years now, people have been asking questions about the mandate of the Special Prosecutor, what the Special Prosecutor has been doing over time, and demanding responsibility and accountability from the Special Prosecutor, because he's being paid by taxpayers' money. And then day in and day out, we woke up and we hear of scandals. So we've been asking what exactly he has been doing all this while. He came out with this report. In fact, the Ejapa scandal was as a result of the vigilance of minority in parliament, that's MDC MPs in parliament, who realized that government of the day is going to mortgage our mineral royalties to one particular family, therefore blow the alarm. And about 22 civil society organizations also came in support and petitioned that no, we need to halt this deal, because to mortgage our mineral royalties, where every year we get $200 million, just to take only $500 million and give such royalties to one family in perpetuity is uncalled for. So Martin Amidu was referred to this case. and then he started investigating. So lo and behold, he couldn't have come out with any other better report than this, because aside the NDC or minority in parliament, the 22 civil society organizations who took time to investigate, analyze the whole deal, realized that it was crowded with nepotism, favoritism, and what have you, cronism. So the family and friends agenda was certain. Everybody got to know that this is not a best deal for Ghana. So therefore, if you are responsible, if you think about the future of the country and the development of the country, you will never be in support of this deal. So Martin Amidu, first of all, coming out with this report, he couldn't have done anything better than what he has done now. Now, you have several cases on your desk that you are dealing with. As a responsible prosecutor, you handle a case at a time. So we were all expecting that Martin Amidu will handle the Ejapa deal and bring out the report fully, and then go to any other issue or any other scandal on his death, investigate and come out with a report. When you look at this whole report I'm holding, you see, this is report on the analysis of the risks of corruption and anti-corruption risks assessment of the process leading up to the request for approval and approval of the transaction agreement and tax exemptions granted by Parliament, tendering in the relation to the gold royalties monetization transaction under the Minerals Income Investment Act 2018, Act 978, and other related matters thereto. So you realize that it is specific agenda. Your investigation was on a specific issue, which is Ejapa mineral royalties. In analyzing and giving briefings on all the issues in the report, whenever anyone is writing a report, and then it gets to a point where it states observations. So when you go to the page 54, when you go to page, it started from page 53, that's section 10. So after giving briefings on all the issues in the deal, in section 10, Martin Amidu put the headline, observation. So as soon as you see observations, you would think that after giving the briefings on all the issues, your observation as a prosecutor on the particular case you are dealing with. Here, Martin Amidu didn't give us the observation on the particular case he was investigating, and he jumped straight to Ejapa, to the Republic versus George Owusu and others, and then goes to what you call Anthony Boateng J.A, the PPA issue, and what have you. So at the end of the day, realize that the man is confused. You have given briefing on a particular case.
He's confused?
Yes, he was confused.
How confused?
That is how I put it, because to be honest, everyone who writes a report and goes to a last aspect and says,
what do you expect that he included in his observation?
You see, even in, you could have better, after your observation on the case, he could have better stated that other related issues being went on. Other related issues being went on. Then you enumerate the issues that you are working on. But you don't jump straight observation and you jump straight to Airbus. You jump straight to Ajeni Boateng. What have you? You demonstrate in one way or the other how irresponsible you are in bringing out this report in the first place. You demonstrate how irresponsible you are in the first place in bringing out this report, because the whole report is on a Japa scandal. So what were your observations after all the briefings you've given us in the report? Why do you have to just jump straight? If he happens to be a student and you are marking him, this is below average. This is an exercise in mediocrity, because you don't try to smuggle in a case which is separate on its own, on a separate case that is so dear to Ghanaians, that we have been taxed to do investigation. You know, Justice, you see, we have so many institutions that work on corruption issues, like SHRAJ, the YOKO, and what have you, but they don't have prosecutorial powers. It is only the special prosecutor that has investigative power and also have what? Prosecutorial powers. So we were expecting Martin Amidu to go straight after the briefing and give out the observation and give out recommendation thereof. He didn't do that. When you go to the report, for instance, you have stated clearly, that's Martin Amidu. Page, yes. This is page 11 of the report. It states that in the first place, the involvement of Imara Corporate Finance Limited of South Africa in the mandate agreement as approved by the Public Procurement Authority made the mandate agreement an international business or economic transaction needed approval from Parliament under Article 181 Clause 5, which was never sought or given. Then he goes again. See Attorney General versus Farouk Atlantic, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, the whole of the fees for the contract purportedly won by the Imara Corporate Finance of South Africa with its decoy data bank of Ghana is to be paid in United States dollars to Imara in South Africa. The mandate agreement does not say how and when the decoy data bank of Ghana was to be paid by Imara for a contract purportedly won and blah blah blah. When you go to the last sentence, it states, and we have to make this clear, it says that the Public Procurement Authority approval is what makes the analysis of the risk corruption and anti-corruption assessment conclude that the process of selection of transaction advisors discloses reasonable suspicion of bait rigging and corruption activity, including potential for illicit financial flows and money laundering in the arrangement of how the fees payable to data bank as a decoy which was not approved under the Public Procurement Authority.
What about
so these are the revelation that in one way or the other there were no approval for the Imara Corporate Finance Limited, which was a foreign transaction, a foreign company. And then ideally, when you are engaging in a foreign company, you have to go to Parliament for parliamentary approval. This was not done. When you come to the manipulation, this is page 10 of the report. Okay. It says that, be that as it may, I'm giving this, then I give some analysis. Be that as it may, an examination, so that I can analysis, and assessment of the mandate agreement revealed how the procurement process, in spite of the seeming approval by the Public Procurement Authority, was manipulated by the Ministry of Finance by adding an unapproved rider for collaboration with the Ghanaian firm to the request for proposal, and thereby seriously lowered the risk to corruption. This is Martin Amidu. So you have given all this briefing. You have investigative powers. You have investigated this. And you've come to a point that, one, the finance minister breached procurement law. And then two, he said that this also provides only reasonable explanation for the minister. This is page 12. Finance Ministry violating the Public Finance Management Act 2016 Act 921. So you have all this revelation and you have the power to prosecute. You couldn't get the gas to prosecute, and then you come to the observation side only to chip in what Airbus issue. This is an exercise in mediocrity, in the sense that this whole report, it was about a Japan. It was not about what Airbus. Airbus issue is an issue on its own. It's a separate case on its own. But Peter, so if you are a responsible prosecutor, you finish with this report, and then you go to Airbus.
Have we not gone beyond this report? Because now everybody knows that people engaged or involved in the Japan deal have been indicted in the report by the special prosecutor. Okay. In that same report, the special prosecutor mentioned, he took some time to mention that government official one in the Airbus scandal is former President John Dramani Mahama. It did not go down with the former president. He responded. He described the act as stupidity, and that the special prosecutor is a coward not to have conducted a separate investigations into the Airbus scandal, come out with a finding. So he, former President John Dramani Mahama, will be man enough to, submit himself for any interrogation and all of that. Now the question I am asking is that if we have gone beyond this and he has turned, you are government official one, this one says I'm not, conduct a separate investigation. Today, the special prosecutor has responded. Sorry, is the former president going to deny some issues raised in the release by the special prosecutor?
The special prosecutor is acting like a toothless dog who cannot bite. See,
why do you say so?
He is acting like a toothless dog who cannot bite because you have investigative powers and you have prosecutorial powers. You investigate, and based on your investigation, you can prosecute.
He has said that because former President John Dramani Mahama is a leader of a political party. Allow me. Okay. He has said that because the former president is a leader of one of the biggest political parties in this country. He's enjoying what we call political insurance, and so he wouldn't, as a matter of fact, knowing very well that we are in election year, submit him to any interrogation and all of that. He has mentioned that, and even in his report here, he talked about a similar thing with regards to his experience in governance and as a prosecutor and citizen vigilante. He knows that in instances like that, somebody who believes in stability and peace and all of that, you don't have to go that line. And he further said that the former president, not knowing some of these facts, shouldn't be voted for as somebody who is bidding for a second term. So he has given reasons as to why the former president is not being invited for interrogation.
Thank you so much. You see, Justice, this is where I want to hold journalists responsible when it comes to this side. All journalists, you should call on Martin Amidu and ask him which law states that when you're a leader of a political party, you cannot face the law. We should ask Martin Amidu, which law says that? You have engaged in an exercise in mediocrity, and we are telling you, you jump and tell us that President Mahama, because he's a political leader, you cannot be prosecuted. So if you know he's a political leader and he cannot be prosecuted, why do you have to state all these things about him? In any case, President Mahama has thrown a challenge that if you know you have any evidence regarding this Airbus, invite me. I will come. He threw the challenge. What has Matamidu done? That's why I said he's like a toothless dog. He only barks, but he cannot bite. That's Matamidu. If you know you have evidence about Airbus, take time, investigate, engage all those who are involved. That's a responsible prosecutor. But you are acting like irresponsible prosecutor. This report is so damning, and it's so it's so damning that it goes against the government, the incumbent. So in order to appease his paymaster, he's smuggling in the Airbus just to equalize the analysis. President Mahama is saying that this is a separate report. So Martin Amidu, let's deal with this report. If you want to investigate Airbus, investigate. I am ever ready. Call on me if you have any evidence about me being the government official one, and whatever the government official one has done in that report, you will tell Ghanaians. But you don't try to smuggle in Airbus to a concrete deal that Ghanaians are so much concerned about, just to equalize the analysis.
I'll come back to you.
For the MPP, because the MPP
I'll come back to you. You've spoken enough.
The MPP people don't discuss Ejapa. As soon as you bring Ejapa on board, they quickly jump to Airbus.
And then they quickly jump to Airbus. Keep your messages coming in on 02608465390, 02608465390. We are live on Facebook. You can share the Facebook live video as many times as you can, so that other persons will also get the opportunity to watch tonight's program. But for the sake of our viewers, let me read this portion, and this is the reason why the special prosecutor has said that he's not inviting the former president for interrogation. He said the long public service of the special prosecutor, spanning various aspects of security and intelligence from the period February 1982 to 7 January 2001 and July 2009 to January 2012, makes him more experienced in determining when it is not conducive to the national security interest to foolhardily take certain law and order actions. The special prosecutor owes that exercise of discretion to his vast experience over the years, his responsibility to maintain national stability, and his conscience as a patriotic, anti-corruption, crusading Ghanaian. There is no question of stupidity or cowardice about it. And so that is the reason why Special Prosecutor says he is not inviting the former president for interrogation now. Now, let me come to Mr. Isi. Mr. Isi, your take on this brouhaha, I mean, the back and forth between the former president, John Dramani Mahama, and that of the Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu.
Yeah, thank you, Justice. Let me say good evening to you. Good evening to your production crew, your viewers. Good evening to my brother Peter. As OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, is decided to conduct an investigation into something that he thought had become a bit controversial amongst the populace, which matter is the Ejapa royalties deal, which I still hold to be one of the best forward-looking investment deals that this country is decided to pursue. That notwithstanding, he went into it. He's come up with certain things that he believes doesn't look right, but he's not affirmed it that it is a corrupt act or something. He felt certain things doesn't look right, and as to whether he's stamped it that no, it is a corrupt act or a move that would have swindled the nation, I have not seen that. And so that is one matter. And in his observation, he brought in the matter of the Airbus. And Justice, let's all be candid. The Airbus investigation preceded the Ejapa royalties deal investigation. I stand to be corrected, but I know that for a fact. That's the matter of the Airbus. His Excellency the President referred it to the OSP. Okay, before these even Ejapa issues was even conceived and steps taken. And so it's a matter of importance to the Ghanaian public that what has happened to, and he said it, that he's an experienced prosecutor, okay? And so he knows that when you bring something that comes after a first one that had been referred to you, the report is now put in the public domain. And then you're coming to the public domain with a subsequent one, okay? Then everybody is going to ask you what happened to the first one. And so he was trying to be smart and then appease everybody in the public space that, indeed, I am working on this. This is the findings. In the media, you call it flying the kites, right? You throw it out there, and then you get the responses and cool. And so he's just done that. He's put it out there that, yes, I've worked on the Airbus scandal, and these are some of the findings, but then the details will come. The Airbus scandals report will be put in the public domain. Till then, this is a snippet of it I've put out there. But the good thing is that there's a complete report on the Ejapa issue, which my good brother has, which is on, I have a soft copy here, okay? And so if that is done, I don't see why the NDC will be worked up the way Peter is worked up.
No, but
and His Excellency, the former president,
if you look at what the former president
gone out to even insult the man.
Exactly. If you look at what the former president has said,
Yeah.
he is of the view that you are conducting investigations on Ejapa. You are conducting assessment and all of that on Ejapa. So you present a report on Ejapa. If you are conducting investigations on Airbus, present a comprehensive report on Airbus. Invite me as the former president. You think that I am the government official one. Interrogate me so that what I have, I would also present. You did not do that. In a report that indicts people and this government, you have decided to throw in a paragraph of Airbus to equalize the situation. And I think that is where the former president has a problem, unless probably you...
No, I've answered you from the word go. I told you that he will be asked. You started the investigation of the Airbus. Up to now, there's no report out there. Okay? You've not brought in any report. Then a Ejapa comes thereafter. And you are able to conclude the Ejapa investigations and you putting it out there. No big deal about that. So if to, get the person who says, what happened to the Airbus scandal? Okay, are you not interested? Are you not working on it?
But why?
So he tells you that yes, he's worked on it. There is something that has been done on it, and he's put it out there. It doesn't stop anybody from interrogating the details of the Japan, assessment that is done. My brother Peter here has done a thorough analysis of it. Okay. In spite of the fact that in the observation column, the office of the special prosecutor is said that, this is what he said. That didn't stop Peter from getting into the detail from page 1 to 64, okay, of the Japan deal and putting it out here, okay? And I will also be clothed with the power to say, okay, yes, I still think there's no firm this thing that there's a corruption act. He thought setting 1, 2, 3 is not been done. But hey, don't forget about it. We also have a challenge with some of the contents of what he's put out there. Okay? Because in some of these international deals, we have local contents. Okay? And you need to have local partners in the execution of some of these contracts. It's a matter of fact, which is clothed in our laws.
People have been sacked because of procurement breaches.
Of course,
so if the finance minister engaged in that,
of course.
Is it not?
No. But we're in this country, we're in this country when a certain investigation, you read that Franklin Templeton investment matter. Okay, what happened? The finance minister went to court. Okay, and he was exonerated. The cost of the land. Okay, so the fact that somebody's thinking after an investigation is this way, it doesn't mean that it's sacrosanct. You have the right to challenge that content, okay? And you have to, maybe, for all you know, he's not even invited a finance minister to speak to the matter. Okay, his investigation gave him that, pointers.
But did he invite the former president?
No. His investigation, that's why I ain't got no problem with the former president saying, he disagrees with him. But to insult him, I have my reservations.
Did he insult him or the act? Because he talked about the fact that
to have stupidity and co, I mean, we all know, Donald Trump did all these things.
No, but then the question is, I know you studied English at UCC. Yes. I know so, and you understand some of these things.
I didn't do English. I
did
mathematics.
Your wife did English. Yes, I know, right? But yes, you live with the English madam, so probably you know some of these things. If somebody says your act smacks of stupidity,
of course,
and you are stupid,
of course,
it cannot be.
No. I understand. Okay, forgive my choice of way. If you stay elsewhere, this is no problem at all. What His Excellency said is no problem at all.
Okay.
You get, but in our part of the world, you get it. People understand, and you give way for some people to also skew it, and you get it. But elsewhere, what he said is no qualms at all. It's a legitimate question that he's asked. You get it. And so, yes, he doesn't see why are you to investigate. Why are you bringing this? But I have said the reason he did it. I'm not saying he.
I think that you talked about the reason.
Yes, that is. And it's rightly so. You get it. But let's make progress. His Excellency, the former president, and as you said, he should man up and wise up. Okay, he's a brave man and he's a wise man, as the special prosecutor entreats. I think it's time he takes the bull by the horn, because when these Airbus scandal up to today, he's not even coughed about it until this thing that irritated him. I think it's time he goes with his lawyers, as Martin Amidu is asking him to go and deal with that matter.
What is preventing the special prosecutor from inviting the former president?
I don't know why he's not, but he's given a reason that the timing is important.
But there's nowhere in the
I disagree. I agree with Peter. I agree with Peter that shouldn't be a caveat for him to, say that let's leave him. Are you saying because of electioneering campaign and somebody is, bidding to become, if the person is corrupt, if the person is unscrupulous, you should let go because he's a candidate? No, we should that's the time you even put out all the facts to let people make the assessment that no, choosing this man would be the wrong choice for the nation. Okay, and so I will not buy into his argument that the timing is inappropriate for him to put these things out. But having said that, two things came out that I thought are very critical and indicting on the former president, if they are true. If they are, because I have said that I wanted this completely on the reports to make my judgment, because the former president has a room to go and contest some of the contents. These two things are, one, that his brother, his senior brother Alfred Mahama, okay, presented himself as a public servant. Oh, sorry, a civil servant?
Civil servant.
Yes, a civil servant. When he wasn't, okay, which was, endorsed certainly by his brother, the president, okay, or then vice president. And then again, the two of them colluded and presented their brother, Samuel Adama Mahama, as having gone to the University of Ghana, okay, which case also turns out not be factual, okay? If indeed these two things are established,
the university says to search all the archives, the documents, and using anybody.
If it turns out that indeed he didn't,
that's according to Martina.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to base on that because the former president can challenge this. Okay, he can do that because there's a precedence to that. And I cited the case of the finance minister. And so I'm saying if these two issues are factual, and indeed our former president, then vice president, and subsequent president, connived to, perpetrate these falsehoods. Look, if you're going for a passport, it is stated therein, do you know that? There is clearly that if you make any false representation, okay, you'll be dealt with by the law.
Exactly.
Okay? And so it is a criminal intent and an act to connive with somebody to falsely represent himself as somebody he is not.
The special prosecutor is saying this, and he has the burden of proof. He has to prove beyond all
that's what I'm saying.
That they really engaged in that.
Good, thank you. That's what I'm saying. That I don't want to backtrack, but I'm worried that if indeed that happened and our former president colluded with others,
I want you to
perpetrate that.
I want you to listen to this language and tell me if it is not more of personal vendetta on the part of the special prosecutor. And this is what he said. The long public service of the special prosecutor, spanning various aspects of security and intelligence from the period February 1982 to 7 January 2001, then July 2009 to January 2012, makes him more experienced in determining when it is not conducive to the national security interest to foolhardily take certain law and order actions. The special prosecutor owes that exercise of discretion to his vast experience over the years, his responsibility to maintain national stability, and his conscience as a patriotic anti-corruption crusading Ghanaian. There is no question of stupidity or cowardice about it. Now, this is where the issue is. Any person aspiring to be president of Ghana for a second term who does not know that a cardinal principle in security and intelligence is that caution is the better part of valor, was not and is not worth the vote. Is this not a personal vendetta?
I don't see it as a personal vendetta. Do you know why? In the Supreme Court ruling, in every ruling by the Supreme Court, they factor the mood of the states into their decision. It's a matter of fact. It's a matter of fact. And so in the case of the MPP versus the Republic of Ghana, the 2013, a lot of things were factored into it. Okay? The case will be judged, they will use all the law, but ultimately they gauge the mood of the nation. What are the ramifications of the ruling that you are going to give on
this portion of the statement has gone beyond
He's saying
investigations and all of that, and attacking somebody's person of contesting for elections in this country.
Yes.
How is that connected to that scandal and the fact that you are investigating the person? You are saying that this person is governor official one.
Let's look at. He is saying that he's an experienced person, and the experience you cannot begrudge him. You cannot take it away from him.
Yes,
he's been in government, one of the longest serving deputy minister and minister of justice in this country, right? Deputy minister, I think almost throughout to Honorable Obeda Samoa, right?
But once again, don't you think that this sounds more a political statement than an investigative statement?
Oh no, he is telling you that looking at from the background of his experience, there are certain things he shouldn't do. When he does that, it will smack of either mischief or deliberate attempt at victimizing the former president. And that is the picture he doesn't want to paint. Unfortunately, from the reading, it rather portrays that is what he rather wants to portray.
But if you say that and this person contesting for elections and bidding for a second term, right, should know all this, and if he doesn't know, then he was not, and it's not worth the vote of the people. Is that not a way of campaigning against the former president?
No, that's his personal judgment. And if indeed the former president didn't know that there are certain things that for security reasons mustn't be put out there in the public domain, then it's worrying, because he's a former president. He's been the head of the national security team before.
We are talking about whether or not
you and I should know.
But do we have the special prosecutor's decision not to invite the former president for investigations with his reasons, right? It doesn't have any basis in law, does it?
Yeah, that's why I told you.
Exactly, but if it doesn't have any basis in law, how do you expect that if the former president said, well, I'm available, invite me for investigations, whether or not I am a leader of a party or and the only response that could be given to that statement is that you know times that are conducive for invitations and all that. That if the former president doesn't know, it's not worth the people's vote.
No, but the former president may also be playing mischief, okay? May want to be, playing into the arms of the public that, look, I'm ready, when he knows that maybe I'm not saying what the OSP is saying is correct, but maybe what he's saying is the truth, okay? And he wants to play to the public gallery and take advantage of the situation. Do you get it? And so that is why he's saying, if indeed he doesn't know, that is problem. But I, as a layperson, I want to say, no, I think if indeed the man has done something wrong, the time, you must invite him. You don't need to prosecute him now. You need to invite him, okay, to answer certain questions and let he goes back. So it is a fact that if he invites and he attempts to prosecute former President J.A.
I'm coming. I give you enough time. Let's take this one after the other. So if the former president is enjoying immunity, I believe that the special prosecutor could have been the first person to know this fact. Whether or not he's enjoying immunity.
I don't think he's enjoying it.
I equally don't think so.
Because first
if he was enjoying immunity, he would have stated that in the report. Now, it has been established that he's not enjoying any immunity. You can actually invite him, investigate him.
I agree.
And if he's found guilty, or certain things have gone wrong.
No, you cannot. You cannot remember. You cannot prosecute him now.
Exactly. But if you are saying that, times that are conducive to invite persons of this stature, and that the former president should have known this fact, the fact that he doesn't know, he doesn't warrant the vote of the people. That is where, for me, I feel that this has traveled beyond an investigative piece to something personal. Don't you see it as such?
No, you see, this part that you just read, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not part of the original report.
This is the release.
His response
from
after the former president has spoken. Okay, and so yes, the former president's words were biting. Okay, but I thought that the OSP has been a bit magnanimous in his response. We know him. We know how abrasive he is, but he's been a bit magnanimous in his
choice. But doesn't mean that the OSP has been exposed here.
This parts that you have brought out, it needs thorough examination. I agree with you that you've laid emphasis on it, and you think, and rightly so, that the OSP is actually gone beyond the official dome, and then ventured into.
But you agree with me that is exactly what it is here.
Oh, well, he is trying to say that, well, you've occupied the highest office. If you don't know this, then I'm sorry.
Is it the mandate of the OSP to tell who warrant the vote of the people or who do not warrant the vote of the people? Why is that included on what is supposed to be a report?
No, but he's saying, if you don't know this, haven't occupied that office, if you don't know it, then, but I thought he shouldn't have gone, he shouldn't have added that last part. He shouldn't have added, he should have ended it, I'm sorry. But to say, I think he's gone far.
Okay.
He's confused.
No, he's not confused. He's clear in his mind of what he's doing.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me come to you briefly. I think I have just about 4 minutes or 5 minutes to go. I'll share it. Let's share it. Now, you have 2 minutes. some very important issues have been raised in the release. I've been able to point out where, the special prosecutor could have carried the situation beyond just an investigative piece to a personal something. Now, but there are certain issues he has raised, and I want to find out from you whether or not the former president will come out to, admit or deny those statements. And where he talked about the fact that a certain, brother of the former president, who wasn't a civil servant, had to guarantee, for a passport for Samuel Adams Mahama, described as a project manager, and then also the two of them, vouched for their brother as somebody who completed school at the University of Ghana, where investigations actually proved that there's nothing of that sort in the University of Ghana records.
There's no need to even speak to that.
Why should we not speak to that? These are very, very important issues raised.
Wait. This is a Japa scandal report, right? Where is Airbus report? This is a report on its own, whereby all the issues have been laid down. So when I'm discussing this, I can go section by section, page by page, and quote and analyze. We don't have any report on Airbus. That's why I'm telling you that what he engaged in is an exercise in mediocrity. This is a report on Japan. Let's deal with Japan. If you are doing a report on Airbus, finish with Airbus report, bring it out, then we can analyze. You don't just smuggle in Airbus issue into a Japan just to find a way to equalize, because these are damning revelation in the Japan deals that incriminate the incumbent government, which is the Kufuor's government. So, in order to appease President Kufuor and his cohorts, he just smuggled in the Airbus so that when my brother sits here, he can also get something to talk about. That is the whole thing Martin Amidu engaged in. Let me tell you, the name of the game is evidence. And I can tell you, Martin Amidu has no shred of evidence against President Mahama in the Airbus scandal.
You think so?
I am telling you. Okay. You see, made a point. Jesse made a point that the Airbus issue was on the desk of Martin Amidu before the Ejapa. So why has he not come out with a report? That's a critical question we should ask. Because he has no evidence. There's nothing in that Airbus issue. If he has any evidence, the report should have come a long time. So this is a Japan, and the Japan, the revelations are there clear. If you read the report in the Japan, he sought for information from Ministry of Finance, from the Procurement Authority, from Attorney General, because the evidence were there clear. There's nothing he could have done about this in Japan than to come out with this report. But because he has no evidence regarding the Airbus, he don't want to call for investigation. President Mahama has thrown up the challenge. I am here. If you have any evidence, call on me. I'll call for the investigation.
Mr. Amidu has indicated that the finance minister is a very good friend and a brother, but he did not even have that mercy or courtesy to have said that, look, he is my friend, and so he was going to cover up anything. He talks about the fact that, look, when it comes to his crusade against corruption and all of that in this country, he has no brother or friend.
Yeah.
He has indicted the finance minister in this report you have over here.
Yes.
So what's wrong in his observation?
You, this is a Japan report. And it was
so in other words, what you are saying is that he should come out with a comprehensive report.
A report on Airbus, then we can best analyze. And today, President Mahama has availed himself.
Okay.
It's like, assuming with the admitting that my brother is a thief, and you are a police officer, just as Azikadongo put it. And you know the thief where he is. And today, you, the police officer, is calling on the thief that if you have the boss, come and let me arrest you. Come to my office. Once you know that this is a thief, he's a criminal, you know where he's staying. Instead of you as a police officer, your duty is to go and arrest that criminal. So that is you are calling on the criminal or the thief to come to your office so that you arrest him. That is the exercise.
Certainly, no thief will go to the police station.
That is the exercise Amidu is engaging in now. So I am telling you, the last paragraph you read clearly indicates that Amidu, excuse me to say, is confused and he don't know his left from the right. And we really have to speak to this issue and call on him to do a thorough investigation on the Airbus and bring the report so that we can all discuss.
Interesting time.
But until then, he should stop stop doing the bidding of President Kufuor and let's focus on raising the critical issues in this Japan scandal. That is so shameful and so alarming and public attention and international attention.
Thank you so much.
We will not accept this agenda by Martin Amidu.
Thank you so much.
Incriminate President Mahama.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Z, I'm coming to you right away. But for the sake of our viewers, Mr. Amidu indicated in his last paragraph that my 64-page Japan Royalties Limited report demonstrates clearly that nobody can use me against another citizen. Former President John Dramani Mahama should go back and listen to the vetting by Parliament of the Special Prosecutor and the Special Prosecutor's interview with David Ampofo to be assured that crime will always remain crime, no matter whose ass is galled. My friendship with the finance minister never stopped me from making a professional assessment on the conduct of the Ministry of Finance in the 64-page Ejapa assessment report. I have no brother or no friend when it comes to my crusade against preventing corruption and fighting corruption. Ghana first, always. What he meant by that statement is that he is not doing the bidding of anybody. He's not helping anybody. He says it as it is, and that's what happened. There's 2 minutes.
Justice. We all know who Martin Amidu is, and the fact that somebody has made it a policy to decide that every sneeze we're going to town to say it's corruption. It's corruption doesn't mean it is established. They can be dealing with that in their own closet and thinking that it resonates with everybody. It doesn't, because the facts and the law content of the issue will be interrogated and put out there. The good news again is that the president has directed that the Japan royalty deal be sent back to Parliament. That is the issue. Because I am one person who believes firmly in that step by the government. It's going to help this country and its developmental, infrastructural development going forward. If we had had such a policy, Obuasi wouldn't have collapsed in 2014 under the eagle eye watch of President Mahama, the incompetent president there. That is how Obuasi Anglo Gold collapsed. His Majesty Otunfuo wept. So that is the issue. Look, every child in this country knows who GO1 is, Government Official 1. Every child in this country. If you read the report in the UK, it's an international ruling. And everybody knows it.
But who is the Government Official 1?
Let me ask. Martin Amidu has answered that.
But he has denied that.
He has denied what?
That he's a Government Official 1.
Who has denied?
Who did Martin Amidu mention?
So who is Samuel Adam Mahama?
No.
Read from John Mohammed's own manifesto.
No, wait a minute. Who did Martin Amidu mention?
And then connect them. That's all.
Wait a minute. Who did Martin Amidu?
But who responded and insulted him?
So I'm saying that the person who was mentioned has denied it.
Well, he can deny. That's the what it is that an investigation has been done. And that is. And let me ask Peter. Let me ask Peter. Peter, what would have been your reaction if the converse had been the case? Which converse is? The full report of the Airbus is put out there, and in the observation, a line or two is dropped that a Japan deal is so and so.
I will not support that.
Oh, come on!
Report focus on that specific case. Come on with the report so that we can analyze.
Let's go.
I don't do a report on the case. Then
Peter, he was quiet. No, he was quiet. Let's go.
And that is it.
Can you wrap up for me?
Allow the OSP, you have the right to challenge him wherever you are. Look, do you know that this report is not, an end in itself? Do you know that the former president can go to court to challenge the report? So wait for the full report to be out. Just as you've gotten this report, get the Airbus scandal report, full report, whether 20-page, 120-page, or 48-page. Then you peruse it and then make your own allusions or adduce your points from it, and then you decide whether you accepted it or you're going to court. That's what it's got to be. And so OSP has done his work. It's not sacrosanct. It's not cast in iron. It is subject to objection by anybody. The former president can take his lawyers and go to court, or he can, take the call by the OSP, go there with his lawyers and say, look, I think A, B, C, D that you've, inferred, is giving me, is putting my name in the bad light, and it is not the case. I want to set the record straight. Then, of course, the investigation goes on. Last one.
Okay.
As Peter is saying, the OSP has that option. To decide that you are the prime suspect. His issue is investigating and prosecutorial, right? And so he can investigate. And in matters of investigation, you don't make noise when you're doing investigations, okay? You don't know if you stayed in the box. You get to understand. Investigations are done quietly. And when they firm the things they want, then they can let the public know where they've gotten to. But you don't just go making noise when you have yet to start the investigation. No, it doesn't help.
Thank you so much, Mr. I'm so grateful. Now, let me take some 3 messages, then we go. Good evening, Justice. Everybody in the whole world knows former President John Mahama is government official 1. I'm not even surprised this evening the Apex Court of the Land, Supreme Court, made it clear NDC government was create, loot, and share government during former President John Dramani Mahama era. Mad Lion, I have already sent in that one. Mad Lion. Mad Lion. Mad Lion. This one says, please, my good brothers, in Ghana, if you want the truthful president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, former President Kufuor, former President Rawlings, and former President John Mahama, why? Who cannot see what this government is doing? In fact, this government is most corrupt government. Thank you so much for your message.
Incorruptible.
All right, this one says, Ghana politics is like comedy. Martin Amidu should be brave enough to summon former President John Dramani Mahama to his office and stop this propaganda. Justice, you see, the MPP people, we Ghanaians have seen your tricks, and you cannot deceive us anymore. May God forgive the New Patriotic Party. I cannot read your messages anymore. Nana Afra MP.
I'm looking at a hypothetical situation where in 2024 Donald Trump will come back, says he's made some mistakes, he wants to correct.
It's very possible that Donald Trump will go back. That's what that man I know. Well, thank you so much, Mr. for coming. Thank you so much, Peter, for coming. I'm so grateful. Thank you, my cameraman in the studio, and then my director, Sewa Alberta. Yeah, Ado, my producer, Latifa Adam. Thank you so much. My name is Justice Appiah. The program has been Hot News. Make a time with us, same time tomorrow. But the discussion continues. What are we talking about? We are talking about the back and forth between former President John Dramani Mahama and the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu. Keep the discussions. Keep the discussions going on in your home. Tomorrow morning, it is going to be featured on the morning show, Good Morning Africa. Make a time with us, same time tomorrow morning, and also in the evening right here on Hot News. Goodbye.